Hey guys, Adam here, Blackfyre Productions, and welcome back to the second episode of the Fields of Jwar. Today we're going to, as mentioned last week, we're going to be taking a look at the Shiho clan releases. I will probably go through all of the stuff that I have for the Shiho this week, and then next week into everything I have for the Minimoto currently, and go from there. Gonna be taking a look at the starter set, as well as I got the Black Eagle himself and a bunch of other stuff here. So a big shout out again to GCT Studios for sending me these. I bought the starter set directly from them in like one or two of the minis, and then they just topped it up with the rest after hearing what I was wanting to do with the minis and stuff like that. I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, at least, I'll be able to get a battle report out there, and I'm gonna do like a slow grow sort of intro to the game, where I'll start with maybe a 50 rice match, go to 75, then up to 100, and just build up the forces and sort of that knowledge base from there. But without further ado, let's jump into the Shiho boxes and see what they actually have inside, and then the characters and such. And my Shiho, here we go. Like I said, I picked up the starter box, and I think it was someone else. Oh, the Eagle, the Black Eagle, from GCT Studios. And then through chatting with them, they ended up sending the rest to me to do some content with. So here we are. I'm going to do an unboxing. I'll start off with the faction starter set, and then I'm going to go into maybe the rest of the minis, show them off, put them away, get the next box out, show it off, go through that sort of process, and then at the end we'll go through the special card deck as well, right there. And then after I get these all showcased and unboxed, what I'm going to do is start building up either these or the Minimoto. I'm not sure yet what ones, but I'm going to do the unboxings first. And it's been a busy last couple of weeks for me, so I haven't had a chance to do this as early as I wanted to. But now that things are settling back into the normal groove of life for me, getting it done. So let's open up the Shiho clan box. You can see the back there. You have the 5 models. So the flavor text here is: in the years following the Dragon Wars, the Shiho name was rarely mentioned. Recently, that name has started to be spoken again with increasing enthusiasm and excitement, as it seems that the only known members of the once proud clan have returned to the Isles of Jwar. Shiho Hiroto is back to conquer his many foes and destroy the Takeshi clan by any means possible. He is leading a secret war taking place in the rice paddies, jungles, and thickets of Jwar. Shiho Hiroto is choosing to hit and run, steal, destroy, disrupt the vital lines of supply and communications that the Takeshi clan need so desperately to rule Jwar. Box contains 5 32mm scale fine detail white metal miniatures and 10 full color cards for use with the Bushido Risen Sun tabletop game. And then it says you can download the rules online, which I have on my e-reader. I'm going to get the tokens and starter and the book eventually, but right now I don't have either one. That will be in order very soon from somewhere. So opening up the box, everything comes packaged as follows. I know there's another side to this. Here we go. So what you get, I'm going to move these out of the way with the rest of them. We'll just push those off to the side right now. You get your bubble wrap with your 5 minis. 5 round bases with the slots in the center there, and then your cards as well. So their card and play style is slightly different than the Wolves, in the sense that these guys are all about the flanking and sort of like tricks, which is captured in the flavor text on the back of the box when it says that they're stealing and hit and run tactics and everything else like that. They don't have the power base that they would normally, I imagine, at least in my head, to face an entire clan right off the bat, without getting that power base back up and stealing and everything else. So that makes sense. So mini wise, let's unwrap these guys. Oh, bubble wrap. I love it. Actually, my kids love it. I got three little ones at home, and as soon as they see bubble wrap, their faces just light up with joy. I think that's like every kid's enjoyment, though. Like every kid gets enjoyment out of it. So yeah, just pull these guys out. So starting off with Shiho Takuya, I believe I pronounced that properly. You have the main body part here. Main body without the arms and the hands and the hat, like so, flowing cape, which is absolutely awesome with all the little detail in that. I don't see a ton of flashing on there. You do have the hole on top of his head. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Where the hat inserts into, so you can actually keep them separate. You can paint the details on the head and then glue the hat on afterwards, which is huge because I found myself struggling at times with the Open Rebellion box set to paint all the details underneath the hat, just because the hat was in the way and everything else. So I like the fact that the hats are off these guys and you glue them on afterwards. You have the hands there with the katana, so he sort of like has the sheath and the katana down facing the ground. Let me see, something like that, I think. Let me see if I can figure this out here. Get on there. Something like that. Just as a quick little, let's see, preview, right? And then the hat on top. It's tiny, and I don't want to lose it, but you can see all the details with the straw hat on top. So he is a loyal samurai. So what's cool about these guys is that because they were basically, if I can, in the Dragon Wars, if I remember reading and listening to the lore, these guys are almost completely wiped out, and so they have old samurai and young samurai, and so like their stats reflect that and everything. So this guy is Shiho Takuya, cost 20. He has 3 melee stat, 2 range stat, which you can boost up with ki, 4 movement, and then 2 ki. He gains 2 ki around and can have up to 6. He has a katana with parry using 1 die, combo attack using 1 die, and then sidestep attack, and also does +1 damage. Then he has bravery, leadership, loyal 1 within 6, prowess, tactician, and vengeance Takeshi. So these guys are all about that. There's awe and movement, and just I love how they started filling out some of the details on the back here as well. I absolutely love that. They might have had that before, but in the Wolf clan, the Tanaka clan, I don't recall seeing all the description in the back. But if there's space like that, and you can add the descriptions in, that's fantastic. So that is Tanaka or Shiho Takuya. So we'll open up Shiho Winpai. Winpai next. So I put them in order to figure out who they all were, and then have stack the cards like that as well. So he's one of the young samurai. You can see him there like so. Sword on the back and everything. Really cool posturing and pose. I absolutely love it. The katana across the shoulder with his sheath or scabbard on it, and then obviously the hat as well, right there. You can see all that. Right. And so this represents one of the younger samurai. So he's loyal samurai 12. He has melee stat of 2, ranged of 3. Both of them can be boosted up with ki, movement 4, and then 2/6 for ki stat. A katana with parry 1, combo attack 1, sidestep attack is 0. Then he has bravery, booted flank, which I think is something new, if I have to take a guess with these guys, but I'm not certain. But it allows me to basically deploy at certain rounds on certain board edges and that, so they can come in from the side. Prowess melee 1, and then vengeance Takeshi yet again, and then he has Nuki Do, and then precision as key feats on the back. And then unique, in the starting phase, you may place this model within one of its current position, so he gets to move around that much more. So really cool. Not super strong in melee, but he's not supposed to be either, because it represents him being young and inexperienced and everything else like so. Up next is Shiho Sayaka. That is in this bag, at least I hope. Again, the detail in these guys are super, super cool. Really do love it, and can't wait to start painting these guys up. So here's the main body, right, with the cape or the cloak flowing off her back and everything else. Really cool wide stance. Her naginata, right? You can see that there. And this looks like it's the hat that it would be strapped to the back, as well as her Daisho set, or katanas. So stat-wise, she has 2 melee stat. She's a loyal samurai, 3 ranged, movement 4, 2/6 for ki. And then the naginata, she has reach, powerful attack, sidestep, attack, bravery, booted, endurance, flank, prowess, melee 1, and vengeance takeshi. And then she has kiro, and then umbrella block as well. And so as key feats, and then that's what they all do on the back as well. So booted is interesting because it allows you to make a walk after you use or deployed using the flank, so it gives you some extra mobility there. Really interesting tactics play style, so you can sort of like come in and swarm your opponent. I don't know how well that will work in the game because I haven't actually played, but it seems really interesting and a lot of fun. So you're not really, you can't be as predictable, or hopefully your opponent can't predict your actions and movements easily. So up next is we have Shiho Yusuke, a range option. So there we go there, right? That's the main body with the arrows kneeling down. Looks like you have to attach the arms and a leg, but that's it. But the hat is on this one. That's okay, not the end of the world. You can see the daikyu, the bow, right? And then obviously the leg slash hand. That's cool that that's 2 in 1 there. I don't know if you can see that clearly right there. So that will just insert there. Looks like another younger samurai. Rice cost is only 11, so it looks like you should be able to field, if you really wanted to, a bunch of characters. I'm not sure if that's good or bad in this game, because I know your opponent gets some pass tokens and stuff like that they can pass activations. Yeah, it seems like you can get a bunch of sort of like 10, 11, 12 rice guys in your list, and almost like a spammy sort of wide list. So melee stat 2, range 3, and then 4 movement and 2/6 versus ki. Katana as its 1 weapon, and then daikyu with reload 1. So basically you get a reload token when you shoot, and then I think you require a white action to remove that, if I can remember off the top of my head. And again, I've only played 2 matches. I'm filming all these unboxings and such, the 3 that I have done. So the first one, which was last week, which if you haven't checked out, go check it out. This one with a Shiho this week, and then Minimoto's, filming them all at the same time, so that way I can start really hammering out building these guys and priming them and everything else. So yeah, I've only got the 2 games in, and I'm pretty sure reload 1 gives you a reload token, and then you have to take a wait action. Not 100% sure though. It's a guess. Bravery, booted, flank, prowess, melee 1, and then vengeance takeshi. And he has the Suri Ashi as a key feat. And after melee exchange is complete, this model may move away from the enemy model until it leaves its zone of control, at which point its movement ends. So that's pretty handy to get out of melee with somebody, which hopefully you survive the attack with them, that you can move back and shoot them with your bow. That's the hope, at least. So lastly but not least, I absolutely think this character is pretty freaking cool too, due to the fact that he has the flaming arrows. So that looks like it could be a lot of fun, and that is Kazuki. He is a loyal Shigeru. Right there, like so. And you can see the flames that or the bowl with the flames coming off it that he lights everything, or his arrows with, like that. So yeah, pretty cool style and setup. You can see the arrow is on fire. That's upside down, but you know what I mean. So his arrow is on fire there. It looks really cool. And then you get his quiver with his bows, or with his arrows as well, like that. And then let's look at his card, shall we? So his card here, melee stat of 3 with key, being able to increase it with the key, and then range of 3, same thing, and then movement 4 and 1/6 for the key stat. He has a Tanto, -1 damage, sidestep defense 0, and then he has the Daikyu with the reload 1 and +1 damage. He has light-footed, and then Vengeance Takeshi. Light-footed off the top of my head, does it? Yeah, so model treats difficult terrain elements as if they were normal. Okay, I thought it was the one that you don't take a movement penalty, but no, wrong. Flame arrows is key feat, which flame arrows deploy a 50mm base on the table within a line of sight and within 15 inches of this model. Till the end of the phase, the area of the base is normal, blocking large terrain. This feat cannot be used while this model has a reload marker. This model gains a reload marker afterwards. So basically you can set up like blocking areas so people can't get to certain portions of the board or areas of the board with that. So that could be an interesting tool for controlling like zone of control and such. So yeah, so that's the starter box for the Shiho. The theme that comes with it, which for the people that are new to this, basically every time you build your list, I think you're required to have a theme, and that will restrict who and what you can take basically. And if anybody who has played this game a very long time and has lots more information than me, let me know, because I am fairly new, if I've gotten things wrong in the comments below. So Guerilla Warfare is the theme. You can see that there. You may choose one of the following in any of the starting phase. Each ability may only be chosen once. During using 2 of these abilities, discard this card. So first ability is move each friendly model that is currently base to base with an enemy model until it leaves the enemy model's zone of control. And the second one is all key boosts for friendly models cost 1 fewer key tokens until the end of the phase, which is really handy because it takes most of them from 3 to 2, which is nice. Friendly models with marked wound boxes may reroll defense dice until the end phase, and then which should stack with melee prowess, which is nice. So you can, with melee prowess or prowess melee, you can re-roll one of your melee dice pools, whether it be attack or defense, if I can remember correctly, and so that should stack with that as well. And then the fourth one is each friendly model currently elsewhere using the flank trait immediately re-chooses its arrival turn, cannot be turn 1, and table edges as if it just gained flank. So basically you can choose to remaneuver them somewhere else based off of what's happening on the board. So really, really cool. I actually really do like that one. And then permitted is you have loyal models and Hiroto, the Black Eagle himself. So then this is flank, the flank card. So play this card place this card to one side of the table with models that are using the flank trait. Flank when this model would be deployed. This model controller must choose whether this model will use flank. If the player chooses not to use flank, this model is deployed as normal. If the player decides the model is using flank, then the model is instead left elsewhere during deployment. Before the game, the model's owner makes a note of which turn the flanking model will arrive and which neutral table edge the model will arrive from. This is hidden information. Flanking models must arrive on turn 2, 3, or 4 in the starting phase of the turn. Reveal the hidden turn number and deployment edge. Deploy the models anywhere along the chosen edge outside of the opponent's deployment zone. So basically you get to set up like on one of the board sides. Really, really handy. Really, really good. Flanking models generate 2 activation counters when they are deployed. If a model gains a flank mid-game or is removed and returns to play using the flank special rules, you immediately note any turn, not just turn 2, 3, 4, and neutral edges for the model when it is removed from play. This is hidden information. Models flanking generate 2 activation counters when they are deployed. So flank seems really handy, and it's going to be an interesting way to play because it's going to leave your opponent with some guessing game because they honestly won't know where you're going. And the fact that you can use the one theme ability to change that up is super handy as well. Really like that. So an event. Play during deployment, it is the Unfurled Wings. Play during deployment for the rest of the game. In the starting phase before the tactical test, if a friendly model will deploy using flank trait that turn, choose a friendly model to gain Tactician 1. And then it adds 1 to your tactical tests, which basically determines who is going first and such during the round. Tengu Feather Charm. It's enhancement and equipment. Attached model gains ranged defense 1, and so modifies the challenge number of the ranged attack by 1. So if it's like 4, 5, or 6, it just increases it by 1. So that's pretty handy actually. Talon Medallion. It's another enhancement and equipment type. I think you can only have 1 equipment type per model. Again, that's from reading it, it might not be 100%, but it's just off my top of my head. That's what stands out for me for some reason, so I think that's what it is. Could be wrong, let me know. The first enemy damage roll resulting from a melee exchange with the attached model, where the individual dice values of the damage roll are the same number, is ignored, and then discard this card. So basically, if they rolled 2 2s, 2 3s during the damage roll, you ignore that damage, and then discard this card. And so requirement is loyal. And then for both copies of this card, you pay 1 rice. So that's pretty handy, actually. 1 rice, you get 2 guys with that. That's not bad at all. Improper Conduct. It's an enhancement. Attached model gains Assassin when involved in melee exchange. Assassin. If this model makes a successful attack against its prize model, it may roll 3 dice for the damage roll caused by the attack and choose 2 to add together. And then it is Loyal and Samurai. Those are the cards that you get in the starter box. So I'm going to put those away, and I'll take a look at maybe the I don't know, the Black Eagle himself and the rest of them. I have 5 other guys that I'll lay out here, and we'll take a look at those guys next. So we got a bunch of other stuff still going on with the Shiho. So let's look at the Hyman first. Hyman. Yeah. So these guys are basically unknown characters that somebody with your flank ability can turn into, or come out of with the flank, I should say. So I'll grab the models. So they're pretty cool. It really reminds me of, like, I don't know, some like old Ronin style like movies where you see them and they have the cloaks all around and the straw hats, and Ghost of Tsushima with the straw hats, I guess. You know, that type of thing. You can see them here. Faces are down. Let me see if I can get that in focus, right? And all cloaked up and everything, walking along the path. Just really, 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 really cool. Then you can throw the hats on them as well. And it's just so awesome looking. You can see the hair on the back there, right there, coming off the head on that one. Got another one here, right? Head down, walking. And then the last one as well. Like I said, I really do like the fact that the hats are off most of these guys, so you can attach them on afterwards, because it helps with the painting of faces and everything else. So the Haman, melee stat 2, key boostable, range stat 2, 4 movement, 6 key, and then improvised weapons -1 damage. They have cowardly, insignificant, and scout 0/0. They have Uncloak and Duty. So what these guys are good for, setting up that, like I said, that flanking ability. So Uncloak costs 2. It's an instant key feat. It's personal. So use this feat in the starting phase, or when this model is targeted by an enemy effect, or an enemy model declares an action or resolves an effect that will bring it into base contact with this model. While this model is undamaged. Oh, sorry. Yeah, while this model is undamaged. Replace this model with a loyal samurai you own that is currently elsewhere, and remove this model from play. If the enemy model initiated a melee exchange, it is now surprised. Transfer state markers and activation counters to the samurai's profile card. So you can jump out and surprise them, like, haha, here I am. I was all disguised and whatnot. Then Duty. 3 key is an active key feat, and then personal. This model loses insignificant until the end of the current activation. So yeah, that's what they do. So it basically helps with that tactical play. Also hopefully will make your opponent sort of weary of charging these people in case you have somebody that can pop out like that. And the fact that you are then surprised if you go into base-to-base contact with one of these guys, and if you have that model with the assassin special rule. I can't remember what the card that gives you the assassin special rule. All of a sudden they're surprised and you get to roll 3 dice in your damage instead of the 2, and like, it can just be a neat little combo and fun little tactic to jump out and target you or target your opponent with. So that is that guy. So I'm just going to set these guys up to the side, and I'll pull out Maki next, I guess. Let's do Maki next. Actually, we'll do Loyal Yariman. That's what we're going to do next, Loyal Yariman. So we'll set these off to the side. And then we'll do Loyal Yariman next. Let's see what these guys are all about. Get these guys out. Don't need that, so I'll set those aside. And I'll pull these guys out of the packaging. These guys have their spear-like weapons, so you can see like right there. Clearly not a samurai. This guy looks like he's running forward with his Yari. It's slightly bent, but that's okay. We can just bend that back into shape and call it a day. Something like that, I think. There we go. That looks better. So that would just go back here somehow, some way. I would have to figure it out. But yeah, they're going to go back there. Something like that, probably. Yeah. And then you have your next one, again, going forward with the Yari. I think it's a Yari, or is it Naginata? No, it's a Yari, that's right. And something like that. Pretty cool models. The details are great. So these guys are 12 rice each. Melee stat of 3, range stat of 3, movement of 4, and ki of 1 and 6 as a Yari, which gives it reach and vengeance to Keshi, and then it has hold the line. It's a 1 key instant key feat with personal. During an enemy model's activation, when that model moves into base space with another friendly Ashigiru model, this model can move up to its move in inches in attempt to get into base space with the enemy model. So basically, you can gang up on someone that also has the Ashigaru tag at the top there, and then you will lower their like melee stat and make it harder for them to strike. So that's pretty interesting. Not a bad one to do, and for 1 key, that's like you're always going to have that ability. So these guys are pretty handy on there. So that's neat. I like them. I gotta think of some tactics with these guys once I actually start putting them together and playing with them. I definitely want to give them a go, but I think, like I said, Minimoto will be the next thing that I paint up, just due to the fact that I already have 1 Shiho affiliation, or clan, I guess, force put together. So I'll probably work on the Minimoto next, so I can have 2 in case somebody wants to come over and play a game and they don't have anything. I can show them and teach them the rules and everything else. That's the hope, at least. That's the hope. So up next we'll do Maki, which is the other loyal Ashigaru. That's why I did the loyal Ashigarus first. So I'll put that one up back there. Don't need the base right now. Don't need that piece either. We need the mini. Let's see this model. So there we go. You can see that she's there. Really, really cool piece. Hat on the back there. You got the sheath for the Tanto. And then her... I need both arms out. Then she has 2 arms. Holding the blades like so. There's one. Right? And then the other one. Like so. What does she do? So she melee stat of 3. Range stat of 3, both are boostable. Movement, and then 4, then ki of 1, 6. So she has Tachi, Toshi, sidestep attack 1 and +1 damage, and then she has a Tanto, 0 damage, and then sidestep defense. Vengeance to Keshi as a special rule. Then she has hold the line like the other guys, and then unassailable. I'm not sure what unassailable does. So it's a 1 key instant key feat personal. This model gains Indomitable +2. So this model ignores 2 assisting enemy models in base-to-base contact for penalties during the melee exchanges. That's really, really, really good. I like that, actually. So that's what she does. She seems pretty neat. And for 14 rice, that's not terrible at all, I don't think. Up next is Shihokita, Loyal Samurai. So another samurai to go with the Shiho. Let's see what the mini looks like, and then we'll go with the last mini that I got, which is Hiroto, the Black Eagle. He looks freaking cool. So Kita, walking around there, no hat, no nothing, and then you have the katana over here as well, with both hands on it, one on the hilt and one on the scabbard. It looks like getting ready to draw out the blade. Really cool. I love the flowing cloaks on these guys. That's really, the look of them is what drew me to them. So like I said, these guys were the first guys that I've purchased, and it was purely just off of the look, and then I went with the Open Rebellion box. But because I got that from somewhere else than GCT Studios, it came in first, and plus it was a pre-order for these guys anyway. So yeah, but like, I just love the look of the flowing cloaks and everything else. It's just so cool. So Shihokita, 14 rice, 2 melee stat, 3 range, both are boostable, movement 4, 2 and 8 for ki, and then his weapon is katana, +1 damage, parry 1, weak, sidestep 0, and then bravery, booted, flank, prowess melee 1, ranged defense, vengeance Takeshi, and virtue 6. Deference, so which is his key feat 1 and key to use, instant and personal. When an enemy non-samurai, non-Ashigaru model declares an action which will either bring it into base-to-base with or targets this model with a ranged attack or key feat, it must make a challenge 5 key test. If the enemy model is successful, resolve the action as normal. If unsuccessful, its activation ends before any movement, and it removes 1 activation counter. That is really good. Unique effects. At the end of the activation, when another friendly model spends 1 or more virtue tokens, the model may walk 1. Off the top of my head, I'm not recalling what virtue tokens are, but I'll figure it out when I go back over the rules again. So while this model is in play, when a friendly loyal model spends a virtue token, you may choose one of the following effects for that model. Walk this model 1 inch. Move this model out of base space with an enemy model until it leaves the zone of control. Model gains dodge 1 and range defense 1 until the end phase. I think dodge allows you to reroll your opponent's range attack rolls, or dice, one of them, and then defense increases the number. This model gains endurance until the end of the phase. I think that means that you don't lower. Has to do something with melee exchange. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, so that interesting. I don't know what virtue tokens are yet off the top of my head, like I said, so I'm not sure exactly how that's going to play out. Obviously, he has virtue 6, so I'm assuming he's going to hand out the tokens himself, maybe. But who knows? That's that'll be something I'll look into very shortly once I get these guys all painted up and everything else. So and actually start using them. Heck, I might just have some games with them to get used to them before I put paint on them. I know, sacrilege, but that's okay. Shiho Hiroto, the Black Eagle, is next. 27 rice to use them. He seems like a big, beefy boy. That is awesome. Let's see what the model shows us. Big samurai armor here. You can see that there, right? That's the main body there. All the black samurai armor. Definitely doing them in big black samurai armor. His one shoulder plate and arm. So that's probably going to go somewhere. I don't know how. Going to be something. Is there a hand in there maybe? I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. That's his hand there. For his right hand. Right? See his thumb and everything else. And then this will be his left hand. So I don't know how that fits on there as of yet. But I'll have to see. It's going to attach somewhere. It'll be interesting. Nonetheless, well, it looks pretty cool. And then I'm not sure what that is. That's going to be the centerpiece to his tabard. Hopefully I don't drop it and lose it. That'd be bad. But It's going to be something sort of like that. Yeah. So what does he do for 27th rice? Like that's huge. 4 melee stat which is boostable, 4 range stat which is also boostable, movement of 4 also boostable, then 3/6 for ki. He has a katana, +1 damage, combo attack, sweeping attack, and Eagle's Flight defense, which is 0 dice to use. He has armor 2, assassin, booted, endurance, fearless flank, hatred, drunken master, prowess, melee 1, tough 1, and then vengeance prefecture. He has improvise, kawusu, and overrule. So let's see what those guys do. So improvise, your opponent is a key feat, cost 3, and it's instant and then personal. Your opponent may not use instant or active effects until the end of the current activation. Apply any 1 non-exceptional special attack and any 1 non-exceptional special defense to this model's melee exchange at no cost. This activation. This model can only use a special ability. This model can only use the special abilities of this activation. After the activation ends, this model may move up to its move statistic in inches, and it's once a game up there by the looks of it, where the T is once a turn. Or once a round, something like that. Kawasu is instant, 2 key, personal. Enemy models cannot declare the use of special attacks or defenses in the melee exchange with this model until the current activation is resolved. Really cool, so it gives them some extra survivability and such. Then overrule is active, and then target within 6, cost 2. Target non-exhausted enemy model gains impetuous marker, so it forces them to go first or next if it's, I guess, later in the round, if I can remember correctly. And then unique effect, exceptional defense, Eagle's Flight defense. If this defense is successful, this model may move 3 inches after the melee exchange is resolved. Really, really cool. And yeah, liking that. Tons of stuff there, but he's 27 rice, so like he's almost, he's over a quarter of your points in a standard game. So like, yeah, he should be definitely worth all those points. So I'll try him out, see where I get him to fit, or maybe I'll just start with some of the lower guys and get a bigger group. I'm not sure yet, but that's the debate, right? Do I add in 1 big guy and then a whole bunch of little guys, or what? So it will be interesting to see how they play out, though. The fact that he has Assassin and the Hyman special ability, so that you can surprise somebody when you charge them, just really cool. But yeah, so those are the minis that I got. Let's quickly go through the special card deck next. All right, so going over these cards now, the special card deck, I'm going to go over the themes that are with it. And I think we got some terrain and then some events and equipment and stuff like that. So I'll go over the themes for the most part because they're the important ones. It gives you different play styles with the characters. So the first one is the Shiho Return. Friendly models that are elsewhere are ignored when calculating pass tokens. So your opponent doesn't get all the pass tokens as they normally would. Actually, you would get extra pass tokens because they're not on the board by the looks of it, if I'm reading this correctly. During the first turn of the game, models in this warband gain endurance and do not suffer melee penalties for having run. Once per game, in the starting phase, when a model is deployed using the flanks rules, each enemy model must perform a key challenge test of 5. If it fails, you may change that model's facing. Oh, that's so good. Set up some surprise attacks on people and go to town. Interesting. Permitted Samurai, Ronin, Kami, Eagles. So you couldn't do any of like the Ashigiru or anything like that because they're not samurais. Up next, the Black Eagle Coalition. Loyal Samurai models gain leadership Ronin 1/6 inches. Ronin models gain Scout 1/1 inch, which allows you to be placed 1 inch further after you deploy them. And then permitted Shiho faction models, Ronin and Ronin models. Then you have exclusion, Ronin special cards. So that would basically allow anybody, I think it's because Shiho faction models, that's like you can use the Tanaka clan, you can use the Shiho guys, or the Ronin. So that's pretty cool. Is it the Blood Brothers? Battle Brothers? There's the Ronin clan or group that I really was looking at that works with Hiroto, and so I was looking at that. That could be actually really fun to get a hold of and maybe throw in with these guys just to sort of fill out the story of Hiroto. I guess, is there a drunken version of him? I think I've seen something online. I'm not sure. Either way, somebody let me know, because that would be maybe something else that could be really cool too. So Hidden Airy, 50mm base and passable blocking and large. Instead of clearing a table edge when using a model with a flank, you may note this terrain element to be the model's entry point instead of a neutral table edge and deploy it in contact with this terrain element. This is hidden information. The terrain must be deployed on your half of the table and not in a scenario zone, so it costs 3 rice to use. You have Hidden Tunnel, 50mm base, it's open, clear, and 0 destructible. In the end phase, you may place a friendly Shiho model in base to base with this terrain feature. That model gains flank and returns to play using those rules. In the end phase, you may place a friendly model in base to base with this terrain feature elsewhere. Yeah, might have forgot the elsewhere part. And then they gain the flank ability and stuff. So Straw Soldiers terrain. So that just sets up a lot. Going back to this last card, that just sets up a ton of plays. That's really cool. I like it. Straw Soldiers. So 30mm base and passable blocking small, and it's also destructible. Set this terrain up only in a scenario zone. It counts as a model, but 0 rice cost when determining zone of control. When a model performs a wait action to destroy this terrain, it needs not spend 2 key tokens. And then you have another one, Wooden Stakes. I do need to buy this terrain set. I went back online after getting this to see if it was still available, and there was none there. So if anybody has any idea as to how I can acquire a set, please let me know in the comments below, or send me a message or something like that on Facebook, because I'm really, I want to get another one of these sets. So Wooden Stakes terrain, or I want to get a set of this terrain. So Wooden Stakes terrain. The Wooden Stakes terrain is considered difficult, clear, and 0 terrain for enemy models, and impassable, clear, 0 for cavalry models. Veterans of the Segoya enhancement, you gain Bodyguard, Loyal Samurai. Yeah, and it needs to be Ashigiru. Well, that's cool. I guess that could be the terrain element right there. I never even thought about that. So that's really cool. Wooden Stakes goes on top of that, I guess. Vanguard, it's an event before deployment. X Ashigiru models gain scout 0/4 inches. Requirement, warband must contain a model with tactician. And the more you pay, the higher the X will be. Unorthodox strategy. Both players do not generate pass tokens in the starting phase of this turn. That's super handy. Oh man, super handy if you want to force your opponent to activate. So yeah, really neat. Teachings of Yeshuji enhancement. Attached models gain tactician +1, and it requires being a samurai. Shiho Koryu enhancement. Attached models melee weapon gains Eagle's flight defense, and requirement is loyal and samurai. So cost 2. And then Shiho Clan armor enhancement equipment. Attached model gains armor 2. Enemy damage rolls on the attached model are ignored if the individual dice values of the damage rolls are the same number. Attached models provides cover as if it were a terrain element. If the model is targeted by a ranged attack, if the attached model is targeted by a ranged attack, the enemy model gains double reload markers, if any. The attached model loses flank, booted, and cannot be used to replace a model with the uncloak key feat. That's really interesting. So if you have a good samurai, you want to throw that on. I don't know if I would put it on Hiroto, but on somebody else, that could be really fun. Maybe there. Minimoto Steel Blade enhancement equipment. One of the attached models' melee weapons gains Pierce 2. You have to be a samurai. And then you have the Michi Jurijite, and a bunch. I'm not going to go through all of them, but yeah, so I'll just show you. You can pause them if you want. And then you got Lord of the Jwar Isles. Inevitable Arrival. And then Hawk's Talons, which is a weapon by the looks of it. Eagle's Talons, another weapon. And then Eagle's Splendor. And Eagle Feather Arrow. That's it for the cards. from the special card deck, and the Shiho unboxing for everything that I currently have. I know there's going to be more, like I want to get the train pack eventually, and I think they have more characters and models lined up for later on. But that is currently what I have for my Shiho, and that is it for today's video. While you're here, make sure you check out the links in the description of the video down below. You can check out my Patreon page. You can check out the channel sponsor, which is Torchlight Games and Hobbies out of Burlington, Ontario, Canada. Use code FIRE5 if you're there to buy, to save yourself 5% off of any of your hobby supply needs. You then also can check out Deep Cut Studios as well for the mat that they have sent me, as well as for anybody that's new to the game, you can also check out GCT Studios. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, ignite your hobby.